YouTube, we're back. So Itachi's that guy everyone likes to argue about. He's either the one above all or below all, and there really never is an in between. So with this video, I want to try to paint the most accurate picture of his strength from the time he's a child all the way to his absolute strongest. As a child, the little we know paints Itachi as an outlier. He's known to be a child whose face lines represent chaos, the greatest prodigy in Academy history. Before awakening his Sharingan, he resisted genjutsu from Obito. His instructor couldn't. It would later be confirmed he surpasses his Jonin instructor. This is significant because the standards of the era were likely far higher than those of the past. The Leaf lost Minato, Kushina, the Nine-Tailed, along with having the aging Hiruzen, while villages like the Cloud have Yukito be the Raikage, along with an ever-growing military might. The Leaf is stated to be the greatest and strongest. The only thing that was gained in that time is the younger generations becoming Jonin. Even if he is somehow below average, this is still impressive for Chunin exams Itachi to be well above him. In my opinion, this is more impressive than Kakashi fighting the Stone Ninja due to the fact that the Stone standards are lower than those of the Leaves, whose are not up to modern standards. He will later be able to have a Fireball ranked among the top 3 within Konoha's most elite clan. Prior to the massacre or Shisui's death, Itachi has some impressive implications. Hiruzen, a few years younger than he is in part 1, doesn't believe that he and Danzo fighting together with their combined forces can take out the Uchiha with their guards down in the dead of night. Heavy Sasuke, even after all he's gained, still believes it will be a feat impossible to achieve on his own. But Shisui confirms Itachi has the strength to take down the entire fighting force of the clan without them standing a chance. He also at this time somewhat rivals Shisui without the MS, as well as having the implications of greater potential. Before his death, he's noted to be on track to fill the void left behind for Minato and the Sannin all together, along with an unparalleled body flicker and genjutsu, the same one Itachi would later have, making the power his own. Following this, Itachi would fall into depression, letting his hatred stew for a year. Continuing his missions, his training, his research, he would find and confront Obito, being acknowledged as an opponent and a true threat, believing he had the ability to kill him. This Obito should be equal to, if not superior to, his Yellow Man self due to having years of hate brewing. The massacre version of Itachi is the final version prior to the Naruto story. Not unlike Sasuke in the 5 Kage Summit, he would experience the same extreme turmoil, becoming exponentially more powerful, killing his lover, his clan, his parents, and forcing himself to harm Sasuke. We'll loop back to some of this later on in the video. Last but not least, he shortly after joins the Akatsuki. During this time, he embarrasses Orochimaru to the point he believes stopping Itachi is impossible. This is one of the most important statements about Itachi because there's so much it means. Not only is Orochimaru a Sannin, but has multiple statements that put him on the level of Brown Hiruzen, be it from Hiruzen not knowing if he could stop Orochimaru 10 years earlier, be it the data book saying it doesn't know who would have won, be it the flashback where we see that when Hiruzen and Enma confront Orochimaru, Enma's defeated by a younger Orochimaru, or be it the statement in the data book that the Sannin, all 3 of them were approaching the power of the Hokage. And this is important because what it's referencing is not part 1 where Tsunade isn't even Sannin level due to her nerfs, and later on when she is, Orochimaru doesn't have his arms. This is in reference likely to when they were all together during the Second War, and at the latest that it possibly would have been before Orochimaru went rogue, because that was the last time they were all the Sannin. But realistically, Tsunade retired well before that. This same Orochimaru also had the Hydra, Manda, the Sound Village, who all meet his standards for shinobi rank, along with the Sound 5, not least of which being a prime Kiwimaru, whose Edo was fast enough to fight a Keisuke Shadow Clone, who's able to keep pace with the real Naruto. Their power is also significant. Even in just Sage mode, Madara was unwilling to take a hit from them. To top it off, he believed he had all 3 of the Edo Kage at this point in time, yet Orochimaru still thinks 3 Tomoe Itachi is too powerful for him, something he can only dream of at this point. No MS, no Susanoo, no real display of his true feats or power leaves Orochimaru with this impression. From here on, it's best to talk about Edo Itachi, plus some things I view differently or see as outright misconception. He and Nagato are stated to be the most powerful Edo Tensei, with Itachi stating with his Sharingan and Nagato's Rinnegan there wasn't anything they couldn't do. The most important statement they have is the 2 most trusted and powerful forces of Madara. We'll cover this later when it's more relevant. A more pressing statement is the battle with B and Naruto was a battle of top tier shinobi. B in base was confirmed to have surpassed A prior to this encounter. Naruto was powerful enough to fight and react to Kurama in Sage mode, which is a fight a lot of people like to pretend didn't happen for some reason, but we clearly see not only does base Naruto at that point react to the Biju Bomb mid-air, but more importantly, Sage mode Naruto hit him with one Rasen Shuriken and put him on life alert. The Nine Tails, who everyone likes to glaze and hype up, got one-shotted by Sage Mode Naruto and needed to out-hacks him with his hatred. And that's something a lot of people love to ignore that happened. And what's also interesting about this version of Kurama is that there is a real argument that he's not weaker than he was before he was sealed away. The reason for this is there's a couple times in Naruto we see someone in a spiritual form or from the afterlife, and regardless of the condition of the physical body, still maintain their actual power. We see it with Dan, we see it with Obito when he makes DMS Kakashi, and this might be the case with Kushina. Other than being inside Naruto's inner world, there's nothing that would really insinuate that she's significantly nerfed. This is important because even Kid Kushina had changed that were powerful enough to restrain the full Nine Tails, and when she was on death's door and was significantly nerfed when she was alive, she was still able to puncture and restrain the Nine Tails with ease. Yet, inside of Naruto's inner world, he's physically strong enough to rip the chains off. It is fully possible that within the time that Kurama spent inside Naruto, he grew more powerful, as we not only know the other Bijou have shown that they can grow more powerful, but Kurama himself feeds off of hatred, implies that it can make him stronger as well. So it's not that crazy of an idea that he could have. Regardless, the same Naruto who fought and dropped him with ease, then gets KCM, trains more, then gets full control over KCM against A, and now is at full power for the only time during the war before he gets fatigued, which is fairly significant because even later on, when we do see a fatigued Naruto fight in the war against White Mask Obito, very noticeably his feats in KCM 1 and KCM 2 are not that different from one another, barring the avatar, which obviously causes Obito to say that he needs to use his full power and fight Naruto as if he intends to kill him, and then utilizing the Bijou to do it because he wasn't strong enough to do it himself. But then when Naruto is outside of the avatar, they do fight, and it's very similar to the KCM 1 fight, except that Naruto can't make 13 shadow clones anymore like he could before. Edo Nagato was capable of taking a V2 hit with no damage and throwing Naruto around. Itachi in the 3 Tomoe is capable of fighting both Naruto and B. It's important to note that Edo are not going all out, as they're being controlled by Kabuto, who wants to capture them. The rest of the fight is well known, but I'll loop back to it when it's more relevant. To wrap up this Edo Itachi section, we have to look at the Kabuto fight in full context, databook and all. I'll start off by saying Itachi and Sasuke are not on the same level. Typically, this statement is used for the first time from his brother Sasuke, which realized as his equal, but it's only really given its full context with Itachi's own passage. Long ago, when the two were close brothers, Itachi saw Sasuke as someone he needed to protect and keep away from the harsh truth. But now that he has recognized his younger brother as a full-fledged ninja, the older brother tells Sasuke everything. When combining the two sections, this interpretation becomes even more apparent. The Sasuke section speaks about the distance felt with the constant forehead poking, while Itachi's continues noting he once nudged his younger brother away, but now he leans his face close, stands at eye level, and opens his heart to him. The statement about Sasuke being conveyed is he acknowledges Sasuke as more than a child, with him not trying to shoulder the burden of everything on his own, with Itachi acknowledging Naruto in a similar manner as well. It's more symbolic and metaphorical than it is about power. Kabuto's own actions and statements support there being a difference. He almost immediately informs Itachi that he cannot kill him, specifically because the Edo Tensei won't end if he does, becoming overjoyed at the situation, saying Lady Luck smiles upon me. Later we were shown Itachi being the only one who could withstand extreme attack. Not even Kabuto can take it, needing his other abilities to avoid it. After it's pointed out, Kabuto's plan is to take Sasuke to use as his means to stop Itachi, because he can't do it himself. More importantly, we see Kabuto being faster than Sasuke's Susanoo and its arrow, as well as his ability to cast jutsu being at worst equal to, if not superior to Sasuke's, even dodging Chidori's spear. Meanwhile, Itachi can react to and outpace Kabuto multiple times without his Susanoo in base. Even the Genjutsu exchange doesn't really mean anything. You need to assume they were using it as fast as they could, and even then, they weren't clashing. Kabuto isn't even worried about Sasuke's Genjutsu. At best, it's a speed feat, assuming you don't think Sasuke fired first. I say all this as we come to the end of the Edo Itachi section. There's two more pro Sasuke points. The first is he gets amped by hatred. The problem is during the 5 Kage summit, Sasuke receives multiple amps to make him unrecognizable, yet he never surpasses his partial ribcage Susanoo even at the beginning of the Danzo battle, before getting set amps. You may be able to take it further than this, but it doesn't matter. Even if you think his post Kabuto buff is bigger than any individual buff he's ever gotten before, which isn't implied, To imply it's bigger than all of them is crazy. The last statement comes from Data 4. I not only had it translated, but read to me. It seems to imply that after transplanting the eyes, he gained eternal light, giving him dojutsu that surpassed Itachi. That absolutely makes sense when you consider that they allow for Sasuke to do so much in full context. There is a version of the statement that some use to say genjutsu. This only works if you believe it's talking about at a baseline Sharingan genjutsu, like how the MS has genjutsu that the regular Sharingan doesn't have, or it's talking about the nerf version that Itachi used in a fight with Sasuke. And considering the extent he can manipulate Amaterasu and Intone, the first interpretation makes more sense. One final note, in Itachi's own assessment, the fatigued Naruto and Killer Bee can defeat the Masked Man, who in his mind is Orange Mask Obito, the same Naruto and Bee who couldn't beat him in Nagato. Itachi's last version to cover before looking at his stats as a whole. There's nowhere near as much to cover, but there is some important things to note. There's nothing to imply, nor is there a reason to believe his Edo is more powerful. Maybe the illness-ridden and blind Itachi off his meds in the Sasuke fight specifically he could be, but even then, his Edo is of that version. Just like how Nagato's is of his Rene Rebirth version and Hiruzen is of his old variant. We also see a alive, blind Madara is stronger than his Edo Tensei Rinnegan self. Even if by some magical thinking you think he's just a special snowflake, there's no reason for him not to be nerfed. Kimimaro is different because he was more than sick and deteriorated. He couldn't even move his body on his own. It was not only on death's door, but moving on will alone as stated. This Itachi's main discussion revolves around Pain, Obito, and Kurama. As far as Obito, there's really only one argument. Every other thing paints Itachi positively, to the point it's not really a discussion. The one argument is predicated on the idea of the Pain having superiority. Both arguments are extremely flawed. Assuming you believe Minato's statement implies he believes Pain is inferior to Obito, there is absolutely nothing that makes Minato knowledgeable or an authority on Pain. He knows absolutely nothing about Nagato or how the paths work, nothing about the jutsu he used, their costs, the effort he did or didn't use, how he destroyed the village, the condition he was in when Naruto arrived, nothing about how much power he used against Naruto, the fact that when Kurama was breaking Chibaku Tensei, that he states he can make it bigger. If somebody else had this type of statement, but it was in reference to Minato or Obito, no one would use it for these obvious issues. Assuming you even think the statement is implying he thinks Obito is stronger than Pain, the weakened version in his head is nowhere near accurate to how strong Pain really is. As far as Pain's argument, it stands on the idea that the strongest man in the Akatsuki chapter statement applies to him. There are 3 issues with this. We just went over the first one as it pertains to Obito, is if we gave the statement to Pain, later more relevant statements can override it. Tsunade being the most powerful Kunoichi in Leaf history, yet there are at least 2 more powerful than her. The next, the definition can absolutely be applied to Itachi. It takes a simple Google search to see the different ways it can be used. Even a college professor would tell you this. But if you want to be a stickler with the definition, Itachi's whole goal was to momentarily take Naruto and turn him into his failsafe. He captures Naruto in a genjutsu to do this, and was always going to. My stance is that Itachi is above them, but those 2 topics deserve their own video. Usually people put one down and the other up, but I don't think Pain is covered accurately either. What I will cover is Itachi versus Kurama. The series alludes to this a few times. This has also been discussed due to the discussion with Kisame and how some choose to interpret it. An argument brought up by everyone's favorite number 6 in this Itachi video. As I go over this next stat section, I'll give my thoughts on this. Starting with physical strength, it's S tier. His Edo Tensei can contend with KCM Naruto, who's stronger than Sage Mode Naruto, who can throw Kurama while only using 3 Tomoe. He also contends with Sage Mode Kabuto, who might enhance himself with Jirobo's abilities. Him ragdolling Sasuke makes a lot of sense. His stamina is also S. Ever since the video where Suekage said his stamina was a 2 in the data book, people have taken it to mean it's bad. In truth, the stats are personalized. A 2 is by Itachi standards, not everyone else's. Itachi himself outlasts the stamina god Heavy Sasuke. He performs a feat many times greater than what Jonin Minato does, without his Sharingan and without breaking a sweat. He then got a stamina boost from the White Snake, and has the curse mark, yet Itachi, fighting with the intent to die, wasting chakra, allowing injuries along with his sickness getting worse, plus bleeding out of his leg for a large portion of the fight, meaning he was experiencing extreme blood loss, plus the blowback of his own jutsu and their exchanges. Then Sasuke relies on the power of a storm that uses Itachi's own power, the Hydra and Orochimaru, all without actually running out stamina. His Susanoo went away after he died, All of this is represented as a 2.5 in the data book, so hopefully this gives perspective on how insane the other stats are. With his strength being a 3.5, his taijutsu being a 4.5, and everything else being a 5. This is all Itachi in his Sasuke fight. It's kind of ridiculous, and it only continues. His intelligence is a 5. I won't go into it here because it deserves its own video to go over his thought process and feats throughout the series. His general intelligence is S. He studied all that he could in Konoha, even dating back to the Sage of Six Paths, the Hokage, and even continuing his research to find out about Sage Mode, Izanagi, the Totsuka Blade, and the Yata Mirror. His Genjutsu is S. Not only his statements of it being the strongest Genjutsu, even Sasuke is capable of using the Sharingan's Hypnotic Eye to its peak, which would allow for controlling the tailed beast without the MS. His first Genjutsu displayed in the series is him literally mind controlling someone. He has Kodo at all times, stating it's his power. Subtle Genjutsu, Physical Genjutsu, and Time Dilation Genjutsu. His speed is S. He keeps up in 3 Tomoe with full power KCM 1. He outspeeds Kabuto and keeps up with him with no issue when Sasuke can't, even with the Susanoo as in Edo Tensei, not even when in his alive body. He casts jutsu faster than Kabuto's. His infamous Tsukuyomi in the novel was done before he got amped significantly. He scales significantly above brown-haired Hiruzen, who fought Kurama, and that whole tier we established. His Amaterasu was too fast for Kamui. This is all without Susanoo. His power is S. At a low ball, he's above full power KCM 1, who's above Sage Mode, who put half of Kurama on Life Alert, but we went over earlier, Orochimaru scales to brown-haired Hiruzen. The Sannin have their Beyond Sannin titles transformations, which is surpassed by Naruto. This may include Minato according to the Rawls. The Toads are very clearly talking about power and thinking about Jiraiya and Minato. And while I know Sweatkage, who is a GOAT, I know he has Persona 4 and 3 in his top 10 list, and he likes Itachi, so I'm not going to say anything too bad. Oh, yeah? I stated before that the reason Orochimaru didn't become Hokage was just because Minato was so much better than him, but that's not true. The reason that Orochimaru didn't become Hokage is stated to be because of his mentality. And Hokage are typically the shinobi who are considered to stand at the top of the world, meaning it's entirely likely that Orochimaru and Minato, when they were both Hokage candidates, were around the same level. Minato would then go to Mount Miyaboku and train, doing the same thing that Naruto did after becoming Hokage. So at the very least, some version does fall within this realm of power. Regardless, KCM Naruto surpasses Sage Mode. We went over KCM 1's relation to KCM 2, and then Itachi has 1 to 2 more stages than what he used with Naruto, plus the fact that he's capable of making the beads with just 1 of his 4 hands. Amaterasu is stated to be the most powerful offensive jutsu, even after all Kabuto has seen with the Rinnegan. He has crows that push Sasuke back, exploding shadow clones, which is basically just exploding chakra. It has no reason to be worse than something like a paper bomb. High level water jutsu. He has the ability to stack Amaterasu on top of some of these jutsu. His durability is absolutely S. Sasuke, as powerful as he is, doesn't believe he has anything that can take Itachi out on his own. While I have a lot to say about Heavy Sasuke, I can say deserves its own video and is less significant than Sasuke's own opinion. There's also the minor things, like Sasuke withstanding some of Deidara's bombs, getting hit in a vital point in his neck by Ace full power being focused all into his fingers, or Nagato taking a V2 hit to his chest with no damage that would scale below Itachi, but the core of Itachi's durability comes from Kirin. At a baseline, Zetsu thinks Sasuke's jutsu will be Sasuke guiding the lightning to Itachi. This is likely why he believed it will just be the speed of lightning. This causes him to believe that it will be more powerful than any jutsu that can be achieved with a change in chakra nature alone. This can be taken to some pretty high-end interpretations, like being more powerful than ninjutsu like these, but at worst, it's above A4, who's above Gyuki, and above A3, who's above that. After we see White Zetsu confused about what Sasuke begins to do, with Black Zetsu saying he thinks Sasuke took control of it, in other translations, he exclaims Sasuke tamed it, and still implying surprise. This is where we see Kirin, which the data book calls light speed, meaning it's on a completely different level than what Zetsu believed. All this applies to base Kirin, which Sasuke didn't think would work. He should also to some degree be able to amplify it with his curse mark. Sasuke could have dropped it from the start or even during the fight at any point, but he believed he not only needed to buff it with Amaterasu significantly, but believed he needed to weaken Itachi and cause him to be drained to the point he couldn't properly put up any defenses. At this point, he was deteriorating, off his meds, coughing up blood, bleeding out of his leg, possibly hit with Chidori, tagged by 2 Dragon Flame Jutsu, the backlash of Genjutsu, and only then is he hit with Kirin, which vaporized not only his cloak, but the blast destroys Zetsu's as well. Which is important because Zetsu didn't think he needed to put up any defenses to block or to survive the original jutsu. Now, it's impressive his defense was high enough to keep most of his clothes intact, but the real feat is how it hit. The three interpretations are 1, 50-50, 2, the Susanoo takes the initial impact and Itachi the rest, 3, the Susanoo gets hit more than Itachi. The truth is, we don't know, and while I think 1 is safe, I will say 2 could be valid, as we see Sasuke multiple times getting hit with an attack his Susanoo can't withstand. Keep in mind, this isn't the start of the fight, he's not on his meds, or healthy at all. As far as transformations, Susanoo is a larger than Sage Mode level up. We know this because Naruto surpassed Kakashi while Sasuke is weaker than him in base, yet Naruto states that if both of them are to fight, they will die. He either knows this from sensing the power in Sage Mode or when they exchange thoughts. Most likely he's thinking of the Armored Susanoo, but most media happens to portray it as the form prior to it. Every single form is significantly stronger and faster than the user, even at the ribcage level. Also, Tsukuyomi might be able to act as a buff based on how the Sharingan works. Combined with its extreme time dilation, this might also explain how Itachi grew so powerful during the massacre, even when compared to Sasuke. Such a short time without the same drawbacks. To answer the Kurama question now, I don't see why he wouldn't be able to. No reason for Tsukuyomi not to work with Kurama. No reason for Kodo not to work. He has the speed, he has the power, the intelligence. No reason for the Yata Mirror not to reflect. The fact that he's superior to the forces of the Biju, who Obito refers to as his full power, is significant. Even though he's just an Edo, the Totsuka Blade has no reason to not work. Even Orochimaru, who has Uzumaki Sealing Jutsu, sees the Totsuka Blade as superior. Unless you think the Nine Tails has so much chakra that the realm will be destroyed, the seal will work.